All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're digging into a true giant in the gold world, Agnico Eagle. We're going to break down exactly how this company is using a killer combo of smart financials, seriously cool tech, and a long-term game plan to really dominate the industry. Okay, so take a look at this. This isn't just any mine. What you're looking at is the Canadian Malartic Complex, and it's basically the engine room for this global gold powerhouse. This is one of Agnico Eagle's most important spots, and it really gives you a feel for the massive scale they're operating on. This is a key piece of their whole production machine. So, here's the main idea, the big story we're unpacking today. It's really a two-part punch. First, these guys are making an insane amount of cash simply by running their mines better and more efficiently than just about anyone. And second, they're not just stuffing that cash under a mattress. Nope, they're strategically pumping it back into the business to make sure they're still growing, for years and years to come. Okay, so let's start with the proof, because, the numbers never lie. We're about to look at how Agnico Eagle pulled off a pretty mind-blowing transformation of their finances, and they did it super, super fast. All right, let's go back in time just a little to the end of 2024. At that point, Agnico Eagle was in the red by about $217 million in net debt. Basically, that just means after you count up all their cash, they still owed more money than they had. Now, for a company this big, that's not a total disaster, but it's our starting line. And you're about to see one heck of a race. And boom, this is the turnaround. In just 9 months, 3 quarters, they flipped the script completely. They went from being in debt to having over $2.1 billion in net cash. I mean, that's not just paying off their bills. That is building a massive war chest. It is an absolutely staggering financial swing. And this chart right here, it just lays out that whole incredible story. You see them start below the line in the negative, and then whoosh, just rocketing upwards, 1 quarter after the next. This wasn't some lucky break, right? This was a steady, powerful trend. They were just bringing in way more cash from their mines than they were spending. So the big question is, how on earth did they pull that off? Well, a massive part of that success didn't just happen by luck. It was powered by being incredibly good at the actual job of mining. And a huge piece of that puzzle is how they've embraced technology, especially deep, deep underground. I mean, this is the million-dollar question, or maybe billion-dollar question for every mining company out there, right? The good stuff, the gold, is buried deep. Getting to it is tough, it's expensive, and it can be dangerous. So the real challenge is, how do you completely change the game? And here's a huge part of the answer. You let the robots do the driving. Seriously, what you're looking at is an autonomous underground loader. It's basically a smart, self-driving beast that can haul tons and tons of rock without a single person in the driver's seat. And this isn't some far-off future tech. This is happening right now, today, deep inside Agnico Eagle's mines. And the results, they are just off the charts. So get this. At one of their mines, LaRonde, the regular human-driven trucks move about 1,000 tons of ore a day. The robot fleet, 3,000 tons a day. That is a 3x jump in productivity. They're literally doing 3 times the work with these machines. And this isn't a one-off thing. Over at another big project, Odyssey, they've cranked up productivity by 20%. And the secret sauce here is pretty clever. They use the robots to keep working between the human shifts. That downtime when the machines would normally just be sitting there. It's all about working smarter, not just harder, and squeezing value out of every single minute. Okay, so they're absolutely crushing it with their current operations, and their bank account looks great. But what about the future? I mean, what's next? Well, now we're going to look at their pipeline, the projects they're building today that are going to power this company for decades. And this comparison here really tells the whole story. On the one side, you've got Canadian Malartic. It's a massive, established mine already pumping out gold. Then on the other side, you've got the Hope Bay project, where they're literally building the future, putting in new infrastructure in a really tough remote location. It's the perfect picture of their strategy. Milk every ounce out of the giants you have while you're busy building the next ones. And man, their pipeline of future projects is deep. They're trying to turn 2 of their big Canadian mines into what they call million-ounce producers each year. And let me tell you, that is an exclusive club in the gold mining world. Then you've got Hope Bay, which could be another huge producer. And what's really interesting is they're not just about gold. They're pushing forward a big copper and zinc project down in Mexico, which is a super smart way to diversify and not have all their eggs in one basket. So, you've got a mountain of cash, super efficient minds, and a great plan for the future. That's all awesome, but it all boils down to one critical thing: giving back to the people who own the company, the shareholders. And they basically do this in two main ways. First up, dividends. This is a straight-up cash payment to investors, like getting your slice of the profits. And get this, they've paid one every single year for 42 years straight. That's some serious consistency. The second way is buying back their own stock. They've already spent $300 million on this so far this year. By doing that, they reduce the total number of shares out there, which makes every remaining share just a little more valuable. So let's wrap it all up. What is the Agnico Eagle playbook? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward, but it's incredibly powerful. Step 1, make a ton of money. Step 2, do it in safe, stable places. Step 3, use technology to outsmart and outperform everyone else. And step 4, always, always be planning for the future. That's it. That's the formula. And all this leaves us with one last big question to chew on. The story of Agnico Eagle really shows us how much tech is changing one of the oldest industries on the planet. And it makes you wonder, looking forward, what's going to be the most valuable resource? Is it the actual gold in the ground? Or is it the technology, the robots, and the smarts you need to get it out? It's a really interesting thing to think about. Thanks for tuning in.